All right, my guest today is Dan Lok. Dan is a Chinese-Canadian business magnate and global educator, best known for being the founder and chairman of Closers.com, the world's #1 software as a service platform, which connects companies to closers. Beyond that, Mr. Lok has led several global movements to redefine modern education. We're all about education here at Growth Mindset University, where Mr. Lok has taught men and women from over 130 countries to develop high-income skills, unlock true financial confidence, and master their financial destinies. Beyond his success in business, Mr. Lok is a 2-time TEDx speaker, an international best-selling author of over a dozen books, a member of the Young Presidents Organization, YPO, a private group of global chief executives whose companies employ 16 million people and generate $6 trillion in US dollars in annual revenues. And he's also the host of the Dan Lok Show, a series, a series featuring billionaire, tycoons, and millionaire entrepreneurs. Today, now with millions of followers, Mr. Lok continues to be featured in thousands of media channels and publications every single year, and is widely recognized as one of the top business leaders by millions around the world. I recognize him as that business leader as well. Mr. Lok, welcome to Growth Mindset University.
Hey, Jordan, thank you for having me. Just call me Dan, please. Mr. Lok makes me feel so old. Dan is good.
Dan is good. Okay. Dan,
yes.
We were just talking off the air about the red suit. Where did your fashion sense come from?
Well, from my wife, I had no fashion sense before I met my wife. And my wife, Jenny, she actually loves fashion, and she always has a passion for fashion. So when I met her, when we started dating, at first she didn't say anything, but afterwards, like, I had to do a little makeover on you, right? And then from then on, she's been my image consultant, kind of. So everything that I wear nowadays, she kind of picked for me. So that's, as I always say, behind every successful man is a smarter woman.
Yeah, absolutely. So the red suit was her idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll tell you a funny story. So we were in Vegas, and we were just shopping, right? And I picked up about like a tuxedo because I had a special event, like all of that. So while they were trying to like find the tuxedo and doing measurements, so we saw this red suit at the corner. And it was the most ridiculous thing we've ever seen. Like, it's crazy, right? It's like silk. So we have about like 10, 20 minutes. And my wife was like, hey, why don't we just for fun, just like for fun to put it on. We had no intention of getting it at all because we know we're going to look like Santa Claus, right? There's actually a green one and then there's a red one, right?
A green one. Oh my gosh.
A green one. Same material. That you do look like Santa Claus.
That'd be good. But that's like green is money. Green is money.
Yeah, but it's the wrong kind of green, right? So I put on the red suit just for fun, and my wife like, this actually looks very good on you. And then we took some photos and like, okay, that's cool. And then before you know it, then we bought the suit. But it was more like an accident. And as I'm traveling, I'm on different like big stages. And I noticed when I wear that suit, people call it the Iron Man suit. It's kind of like my armor, right? It makes us stand out, and it makes a statement, right? It's a little bit unusual, and before you know it, now kind of people like I'm known for wearing that red suit.
Absolutely, and it's what attracted me to you because
you have one. You got to show the camera.
You got to show the camera.
Right there.
Usually what I do is I have an American flag pocket square that I put here.
Nice.
And I also have one of those flowers that you clip on. So like here. And then I'll wear an American flag bow tie with it.
Nice.
As well. And then white pants, white Calvin Klein pants. So.
Beautiful. Love it.
So, what's interesting, you say you didn't have a fashion sense, and I did see a picture. I've seen the picture before, but I saw it on your Instagram feed of you when you were like, I think it was 2005.
Yeah, 20 something.
Right.
Yes.
You didn't like
spiky hair, my glasses.
No fashion, glasses,
no.
Not cool hair.
Not cool hair.
But here's the thing. It got like double or triple the amount of likes as all your other photos. What does that say about vulnerability? Like, wow, right?
Vulnerability. I think people also want to see not just vulnerability, but the transformation because it's easy when I say to people, about developing skills, right? Have more confidence, become a better version of yourself. It's very easy for them to look, oh, well, easy for you to say, Dan, you've got millions of followers, you're on TEDx and all that. But when I show them where I came from, not where I'm today, but where I came from, I think that's more inspirational, because people always see where you are at, but they don't necessarily see where you came from. When they can see that, hey, I wasn't the guy that I am today, right? I created who I am today. I shaped who I am today, my character, my confidence, everything that I have, that I earned. I think that people find it inspirational.
Absolutely. Yeah. You really weren't. I mean, we all come from somewhere, and I actually relate to you I mean, yes, with the red suit, but also with, you say you were in the invisible kid.
Yeah.
Maybe you more so than me. It sounds like yours was a little bit more dramatic, but I felt like that as well. I was the invisible kid. But when did you start to feel, tell me about that. And then take us along your journey and when you started to feel visible.
I would say, first, when I was born in Hong Kong, so I immigrated to North America when I was 14 years old, right? Now, at Hong Kong, I was just a regular kid, and I was getting into a lot of trouble, hanging around with the wrong people, things like that. And that's one of the reasons why my family decided to move to North America. And so I would say when I was going through high school, because I couldn't speak the language, with the language barrier, so I was very, very shy. That I was afraid to talk to people because I don't want to sound stupid, right? I don't want to feel like, oh, I didn't know what I was talking about. And people couldn't understand me anyway because my accent, my thick accent. And so from then on, I was always the kid who would sit in the very back of the classroom, right? Kind of never put on my hand. If you and we could go through a few semesters and you would not know my name because I don't talk to anybody, right? After school, I would just grab my backpack and I would go get my locker and then I would just go home. That was me, right? So from there, I think transitioning into, because I was also getting bullied in school, right? I was getting bullied in school and getting beat up and things like that. So I think the first turning point was I started learning martial art, right? I was learning a little bit karate, because one day I was watching a movie from Bruce Lee, Return of the Dragon, where he was going to Rome and kicking people's ass and the fight with Chuck Norris. Instantly, he became my hero, right? Like I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan. And so from there I learned martial art. And what's very fascinating is martial art taught me confidence. So that taught me to be a little bit more outgoing, to talk to people. But from that point, I'm still very much like an introvert. That the things I do, and I'm not a particularly good communicator. I would say when I felt visible is when I joined Toastmasters. Because I wanted to join Toastmasters to improve my English, right? And so I joined Toastmasters, and in Toastmasters, in case you don't know, right? The audience, you don't know, you do speech, right? It's like impromptu speech, or you have a little prepared speech, you deliver 5, 8, 10-minute talk, and you have a group of people in your club, nonprofit, to help you, to give you feedback, right? And after a while, probably a few months into Toastmasters, then I started getting feedback from people say, oh, great job. And I like the way you talk, and I like your confidence. And I remember, oh, you are such a natural. And I'm like, well, there's nothing natural about what I do at all. That's not natural. But people say, oh, I think you're natural. I think that's when I felt, oh, maybe I could be visible, that people actually do would hear what I have to say, right? They would actually pay attention. So I think that was the 2 turning point, martial art and Toastmasters.
Right. So we're going to talk money. We go a little bit further along your journey here. What was the first thing you started making money with? When that first couple of dollars came in, however much it was, how did that feel?
First of all, I started my first business when I was in high school, right? Mowing lawns for people. I think a lot of kids have done that, right? Mow lawns for people. And I've tried a lot of different businesses, vending machines, delivering stuff, fixing computers, and all of that. So I tried a lot of different businesses. In fact, I started and failed at 13 businesses before having my first success. And my first quote unquote success. Now at the time, just like most people, I was lost, right? I was trying this, I was trying that. I mean, I tried network marketing, I tried all kinds of stuff, just like most ambitious young people, right? I wanted to make money, I wanted to provide for my mom, take care of my family, but I just couldn't find what works, right? Something was missing. And just like most people, I read the books and went to the seminars and did all the personal development things. And none of them really quite work for me because it's okay. I mean, it's, I would wake up in the morning, I'll talk to the mirror, right? And say to the mirror, I'm successful and I'm attracting success into my life and do all this stuff. And I would visualize and I would write down my goals, right? I was still fucking broke, right? I was still a broke kid until I found my first mentor. Oh. His name is Alan. And Alan at the time runs a very successful financial education company in Canada. So I basically begged him, pleaded him, like just do whatever I could to get him to teach me. And I worked for him for about 1 year for next to nothing, basically next to nothing. I tell young guys all the time, don't work for money, work to learn, right? Don't just work to earn. So for that 1 year, he taught me marketing and copywriting. He gave me a high income skill. That's why I'm such a big proponent of high income skill. We could talk a little bit about this later. But with a high income skill, which is copywriting, meaning how to write ads, how to write sales letters. Back in the day, direct mail, like stamps and envelopes. That's what we did, right? And so from there, after I worked for him for next to nothing for 1 year, I opened up my own one-man advertising agency, just me working from my home. I was in my early 20s, making about $10,000 a month. Now, today's standard, it may not be a lot of money for some people, but for me, early 20s, that was a lot of money. Right? That was huge amount of money for me. I've never seen so much money. So I would say that's my first success that I've experienced, that I feel like a few dollars coming in. And I didn't care about other people. It's like how people see me and this and that. They felt it's a little bit awkward because I dropped out of college. But
right. We're going to talk about that, by the way.
Yes, but that's my first validation that I'm on the right path.
How did you convince Alan to work together to take you under his wing?
Yeah.
Because I think I do strongly believe in mentorship. Mentors have brought me a long way. And I always say, there's a whole chapter in my book that's together is better. I fully believe it. How'd you make it happen?
Well, at the time, I was sharing with you, Jordan, about I was buying all these like opportunity magazines, right? Opportunity magazines about like different business ideas and ventures, things you can do to kind of like a side hustle that can make money, right? So I was on these mailing lists. And at the time, I would always get these different, people would call them junk mails in the mail. And I would always be very fascinated about this particular person who sent me his letters because they're the most compelling, fascinating stories that I've ever read. It's just different from everybody else, right? It's in a plain envelope. It's very personal. That's just fascinating. I always remember the name. So one time I got an invitation from, again, one of these letters. I went to a local workshop in the city. So I went to a local workshop. I was sitting in the very back of the hotel. And sitting right next to me, I was looking at a speaker. I was looking at the name tag. I was looking at the speaker's name tag. And I saw Alan Jacks. By the way, that's the person who's been sending me these letters. And I was like, fucking hell. There is no. And I said, are you Mr. Alan Jacks? He said, yes, I am. And that's like, suddenly I'm like a fanboy. I'm like, oh my God. I said, oh my, like literally I was screaming on top of it. I said, oh my God, right? I said, I love your work. I said, oh yeah. And he was thinking I was referring to the workshop because that's what he does, right? He put together his workshops. I said, no, not the workshop, your marketing, your letters. I said, I collect them, I three-hole punch them, I put in my three-ring binders. Like and he was like, first of all, he was like, who the hell is this like Asian dude? like screaming on top of his lungs, like he was like a little bit shocked by that. And the speaker was getting angry because I was screaming in the back of the room trying to interrupt his thing. So then I asked Alan one question that changed my life. I said, can I buy you lunch? And I always remember he hesitated. He thought about it. He looked at me. He thought about it, looked at me, and he said, what the hell, I got to eat. Right? So we went downstairs. We went to a restaurant. And I sat down with him and I told him very, very directly, I said, hey, Alan, I'm so glad that you were doing lunch together. I'm a young guy. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm kind of an entrepreneur. I'm entrepreneurial. I don't like, I'm so honored you're having lunch with me, but actually I want to be honest, I don't have a lot of money. So if you were to order like a burger, it should be no problem. But if you order something expensive, my credit card is embarrassing, but it will probably pass. It will probably decline. Mm-hmm. And he was just, he loves it. He loves how direct I am, how transparent I am. And he's like, I don't worry, I'll just get a drink. And so from there, I asked him to mentor me. He said, no, for many days. I was actually stalking him, right? At his place. Remember my lawn mowing experience?
Yeah.
I would go to his house. I would mow the lawn. I would clean up the garden. I would just do everything I could to show him that I'm serious. That I really want to learn from him. And because he's never had a mentee, and by the way, I'm the only mentee he's ever had in his whole life until this point. Never.
Right.
And from then on, finally, he took me on and kind of gave me a job, kind of a job to work in his office. And in the beginning, I was just taking stuff to the post office, like coming like a clerk, right, at his office. And later on, he would give me different things, and he was testing me, right? And then finally, he would mentor me for 1 year. And until this day, he's still my mentor, by the way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's important too to outgrowing a mentor. Like, oh, I'm too high up for a mentor now. Like, no, it's not the case. I acknowledge you there for that. I want to highlight that. But yeah, so to paraphrase, show them that you're serious, that you really, really want to learn, whatever form that takes. Just show them that you're serious. I mean, that's
I think a lot of times when people say, "Oh, I want a mentor," I mean, on social media, I get that every day. Right? People, oh, Dan, can you mentor me? Right? Yeah. I'm sure, Jordan, you get people there. Say, Jordan, all the time, right? I think one of the best advice I could give to people is when you're approaching the mentor, keep in mind, your mentor has been there and done that. They are a few steps ahead of you, right? Or many steps ahead of you. They're more successful. They've got more experience. You are going to them. Don't approach them coming from a place of like entitlement or obligation where, oh yeah, you're successful, help me. Like poor little me, right? Help me out. That's a very wrong mentality, right? When you approach a mentor, you should always come from a place of value. How could I solve them problems? How could I help them? How could I in the time I was just helping Alan to clean up his office and doing like very low level work, right? I was licking the stem. That was my job. Yeah. I don't care because I was there to learn, right? And a lot of times I think people now, oh, like you're going to teach me, I'm going to be this. They're coming from a place almost like you owe me something, right? You're successful. They don't owe you shit, okay? They are successful. If you want something from them, you got to come from, and some mentors, maybe you go to their training, you go to their workshops, you go to the online training, you invest in yourself, that's cool. Some mentors where you work for free and you get like some time from them, that's cool. Whatever it is, but it has to be that kind of relationship. It cannot be a relationship where you're like a vampire, right? You go and you want to suck the knowledge and suck the energy out of them. Well, there are a lot of people who want their time. So you got to come from a place of there to help and add value first.
Right. And yes, adding value, but here's the caveat. And I got this only a couple hours ago this morning, and I get it all the time is, I really want to help with your mission. What can I do for you? Like people, looking for me to like help them out and, or like, associate with them. And it's like, okay, now you've just given me a homework assignment. I have to now figure something out that you can do for me. And it's just, that's not the way to do it. Come with something very specific, a problem, a solution to a problem that Dan has or I have. And that will be so much more likely to result in the outcome that you want in getting
exactly. It's like if you want to have that, to me, the mentor-mentee relationship is a very special relationship because coming from my martial art background, right? That's why all my students, they know my martial art background. They call me Sifu. Sifu means like a mentor in Chinese, right? So it's that martial art example that I always use that comparison. It's a respectful relationship. It's a very special relationship. So if you're not even investing time in a relationship as a mentee, then why would your mentor invest any time in a relationship? If you have not taken the time to study like what you do and how you do it and things like that. If someone comes to you and say, Jordan, help me out. I'm just a young guy, I'm getting started. Versus they listen to your podcast, right? They go to your website. They know everything about you, right? And versus, hey, Jordan, I've been getting your email. I've been seeing your marketing. And I think this hypothetically, this is a landing page that you have. I have some writing skill. I think I could help you. And in fact, I have already written a brand new landing page for you. Can you give me some feedback?
Ooh, that's
what are you
it.
going to say?
Oh my God, yeah. Let's talk.
Let's talk. Like, this is awesome. Like, you're my kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
But versus you want something for nothing. No, give first. And guess what? Very often when you give and give and give and give, you may not get anything in return. But all you take is just one. You need that one person who believes in you. And then your whole life would change. My whole life changed, right? When I had my first mentor, then my second mentor, the $50 billion man, Dan Pennier, right? So both have been my mentors for over a decade. That's why I think mentor-mentee relationship, sometimes people think they buy a book, they buy an online course, that's a mentor-mentee relationship. That's not a mentor-mentee relationship, right? That's you buying a course, right? A mentor-mentee relationship is you know them and they know you. Right? They actually know who you are, right? They know you personally, and there's that long-term relationship. So that's what I have. That's why both have been my mentors for over 10 years now, right? I respect them a lot.
Absolutely. I want to highlight, again, just so many good points here, but highlighting that do your homework on that person.
Yep.
Listen to the content that they have out there. Watch their videos. I think it's very lazy when people say, what's your story, man? Let's get on a phone call. I really need to gain some insight from you and from your story and where you get your inspiration from. And it's like, it's out there, man. It's out there. That's lazy.
And if they won't, exactly. If they won't even do that in the beginning relationship, how are they going to behave after the relationship? It makes no sense, right? If they won't even do that little bit of work, like, exactly. Oh, let's get on the phone. I want to hear more of your story. Are you crazy? Like, how many times I've told my story on social media, right? How many podcasts you won't even do that, right? And forget, like, it should be like anyone who's serious, they have almost like look at your stuff inside and out, right? And they're resourceful enough. And maybe, like, say, Jordan is, maybe you don't need a landing page, but they keep watching you, and suddenly, maybe on the podcast, you talk about, oh man, I really need someone to help me with whatever. Just kind of mention it one line. And suddenly next day you have someone email you, hey Jordan, in the last podcast you talked about, you kind of need someone to help you with this blank. Well, if I don't know how to do it, I happen to know someone that I think that can help you. I would love to introduce you to that person and just leave it at that. And now you remember that person. Oh, that's a nice guy, right? And from there, that's how you start the relationship. Very naturally, I'm certain you will be like, okay, thank you so much for the introduction. How can I help you? Right? You feel like now you're obligated. How can I help this person back? Because they've given you something of value in advance. It's very basic kind of business relationship and acumen 101, but common sense is not common practice.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about what is FU money. FU money. I know.
Yes.
I'm just joking, but people call it. People mistake it for FU money. But
I have. I'll tell a funny story. When I wrote that book almost 10 years ago, no one would publish the book. No publishers would touch it. And a lot of people, they sit down with me. Okay, is this like, what is that? Tofu? Like, is it foo? Is it? No, it's exactly what it means. What it is exactly what it means.
Yeah.
It's FU money, right? And they're like, what the hell does that mean? And by the way, Jordan, can you hold that up again? Mm-hmm. Can you see the stack coins?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a finger.
Oh wow! I did not realize.
Did you see that message?
No.
It's actually a finger.
That's
right
great.
there.
That's great.
You can see that. It's a little like a hidden message. So I wrote that book, and I think FU money is different for everybody. I mean, the numbers. Some people say, "Oh, I need, millions of dollars." Some say, "Oh, I need a few $100,000." That number is different. I like to describe it as a metaphor where you feel that you have enough, where you can live life on your own terms.
Right.
It depends on what you want. If you want a simple little condo, a simple car, you need a lot less. If you say, I want a big mansion, I want to have, 3 sports car, that's a very different lifestyle, right? That requires a big amount of FU money. But what I've learned over the years is that number is actually a lot less than what people think. Most people, they think, I need $50 million, I need $30 million to live the life of my dreams. Actually, you need a lot less than that to really live a good life, right? A very good life, that you're flying first class, you're staying in the best hotel. You are once you get, money's a funny thing. After a certain amount, the quality of life doesn't dramatically improve with more. Right?
That's interesting to hear you say that too.
Yep.
That's because I was almost going to approach you about that and see what you thought about that. Yeah, continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So think about it. Let's just take John. What's your, paint me a picture. What's your ideal lifestyle for yourself?
So, I mean, it's different, different parts of my life. So let's just say for my 20s,
Yes.
Being a digital nomad, living in Italy, south of France.
Traveling. Yes.
Right. And yeah, that's so pretty much flights and
living, hotel, living,
but with a relatively nice home base and a Porsche Cayman S, that's great. That's it. Yeah.
So in my book, as you know, I talk about actually writing that out, right? How much would it cost you? Let's say for Porsche, for a nice home, for vacation, you're staying, all of that stuff. Because most people have this kind of big idea. Oh, I think I need all these things and I want all these things, but they're actually how much it actually costs. When you map it all out, chances are, unless you want something very crazy, exotic, something insane, for most people, that number is actually a lot lower. And you will notice by the time, in the book, I go through some ridiculous things where, you get to go to spa every damn week, right? You go to have steaks every damn day, right? You take travel vacation, just ridiculous amount of activities and things, and it still costs a lot less than what people think. And that's the great thing about it. And when you have that perspective, then you ask yourself, just example, before this interview, I had my lunch. My lunch is an $8 lunch. It's a little lunch box. That's it.
Oh.
At the end of the day,
what is it?
It's just like a fried rice. That's it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like a pineapple fried rice. That was it. So it's very how much can you eat? How much can you travel? At the end, you still sleep in one bed.
Yeah.
How many cars can you drive? I've got a couple of nice cars, but I don't need 20 cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't need beds.
I don't need to, right? As I get older, you know, more stuff, just more hassles. It creates complexity in your life, right? I'm not saying don't get nice things. I like nice things, right? I like nice things, but get a couple of nice things, right? But after that, it's just stuff to me, right? At this age in my life.
So of course I've got FU money right here, made some highlights, listened to the audio version as well, because I can listen to your voice all day. And I feel like a lot of people can't. And I love it. But anyway, what was it? Oh yeah. Unlock It. Your new book, Unlock It. You say it's a wiser, more mature Dan Lok. In what sense? How different is this book going to be?
I wrote FU money about, like I said, almost 10 years ago. Right? When I made, you could say, my bucket of money, my first big fortune. I felt it was fortune back then. And over the years, I asked myself, well, after FU money, I said to myself, I'm not going to write another book because it's so much work to write a book.
It's so hard.
It is so much work. I said, I'm not, and I don't have time. So I don't want to write another book. And it's only about last year, I was having discussion with people and just friends and things like that, also with my wife. And I'm like, okay, my wife and I, we've been together almost 12 years. We've been married 4. And we're thinking, thank you. And imagine, we're going to have, imagine we have a couple kids, right?
Oh, yeah.
So imagine, we don't have kids yet, but imagine a couple kids. And I say, what legacy, what book would I want my kids to read? And I say, do I really want them to read FU? Hey, here's a book from your dad, FU money. That's my best work. And I'm like, I don't know, right? And from there, back then, when I was my late 20s, I was more brash, more arrogant. I would say less mature. Like I was still in a phase of where I was chasing a lot of recognition and achievement. Versus now I'm almost 38, like 10 years later, that like I'm more mature. The way I view life is very different. So I thought to myself, you know what? I need an updated version of who I am today, how I see the world, how I see business. And that's why like I wrote this book. I said, this book reflects kind of what I've learned in the last 10 years about life and about business. And that's why the subtitle, you see, the book is Unlock It, but the subtitle really is The Master Key to Wealth, Success, and Significance.
Oh, good. Significance. Yeah.
And how I myself, I've evolved from because I believe, Jordan, in life, you go through 4 stages. The first stage is what I call survival. Just paying the bills, make enough, make ends meet, right? And then the second stage is what I call security. Now you've got a safe, secure job, or maybe you have a career. You've got like you're kind of middle class. You're okay, right? You're comfortable. And then the third stage is success, right? Now at the stage of success, you don't just have everything you need. You have everything you want. You don't just have a car. You have the car. You don't just have a house. You have the house that you really want, right? Now you're flying first class, you're having fun. Like you're not worried, you're very, very successful. And people look at you, they think of you, they look up to you, you are very successful, right? And you're a very successful guy. So that's that. That's a kind of from my 20s to 30s, that's what I was focusing on, chasing success. What I didn't know is there's one more level. That's level 4, stage 4, and that's significance. And how I've transitioned, evolved from being successful to focusing on significant. And when it comes to significant now I don't want to sound so cliche, but then your focus is not so much on me, the look at me, look at how successful I am, look at how smart I am. Now you're thinking about, okay, how can I take my experience, what I've learned, how can I make an impact, right? Like I'm taken care of, my life is good, but then how can I impact others? And that's how I've been living my life in the last few years, really focusing on that. And that's why we have this global education company that we have, right? We couldn't build this if it was just me. And now everything I focus on, it's how can I make an impact? And that's why we're students in over 150 countries, because I focus on why I do this book, because now I want to make more of an impact, right? Getting it into the school system, sharing a message with young people.
That's important.
Yeah, and then sharing or being on podcasts. I block out a chunk of my time. I tell my team that I'm going to be on. Like on podcasts, I don't look at this as like promotion and branding, because we are doing a lot of branding on our own social media already. But I craft out a percentage of my time being on podcasts, being on university campus to share, right? To like I spoke at UPC, I spoke at SFU, like in here, to share with young people, hey, this is where I came from, right? I was an immigrant guy. Right? Poor immigrant boy with no money, no language, like couldn't speak a word of language. And yet I've accomplished, a little bit of success. And here's what I've learned.
Oh, like, a little bit.
Yeah, but this is what I've done.
That's right? a lot of bit. It's a lot of bit.
What I've done. And I want to inspire young people, hey, you could do it too. Really, really, you could do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. So we're going to talk education, because this show is all about learning the lessons that we should have learned in school but did not. So you don't have a college degree.
No, I dropped out of college.
Right. Is it likely? Is it easy-ish to be? I don't want to say, can you be successful without a college degree? Because technically you can. I mean, you did it. Look. But is it, would you advise it? Like,
I think I would advise looking at it from a different way. Having a college degree is no guarantee for success.
That's right.
Okay, so instead of, I go to college and everything, I get my piece of paper, then everything would be fine.
It's a piece of paper, man.
That's all that is. It's nothing more than that. And it's becoming worth less and less. Yeah, go ahead.
So I posted on, gosh, I'm jumping in. I don't usually jump in this much. I'm just so invested, Dan. Like I love this conversation.
I love doing it back and forth.
But I posted on, this is one of my most controversial posts. I post, when I go to a store and the cashier hands me a receipt, I say, no, thank you. you can keep it, you can throw it away. I don't need it.
Hmm.
Well, when I walk across the stage to get my college degree, I'll probably say the exact same thing. And I pretty much likened a college degree to a receipt. And it's like worse than a receipt because you can't, there's no return policy on it. Like that $200,000 is gonzo. But I got like 80% love from that and just 20% pure hatred. But yes, that's well,
because the schools, do you think about the school system, we have been programmed at a young age, right? Like imagine like as a young kid, all of us, right? A teenager, we want to buy that video game, right? We don't buy that toy. We go to mom and dad and say, "Hey, mom and dad, I want that thing, and I want to make some money." And then what's the first thing they say? You go get a job.
Yeah.
Go get a job, make money, right? It's so ingrained in us. Oh, go to school, right? So that's fine. I mean, I think we all have different paths. If you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an engineer, absolutely, you need school training. But what if I want to be a YouTuber? What if I want to be a podcaster? What if I want to be a travel vlogger? What if I want to be a makeup artist?
Right. Even any sort of entrepreneur, do you really need it?
Yeah, like that's what I mean. So no one, like your banker, is not going to ask you for a school card. It's going to ask you for a financial statement. So, and I'm a such strong believer in this, and I'm actually now working with the school system to change this, because I think the whole job economy is dead.
Yeah, it's totally dying.
It's dead. Like it's dead. Whatever jobs you think you're gonna get after you graduate, but those jobs, they may not be around by the time you graduate. And one thing that kind of frustrates me is this. Okay, I guess I have so many young people who follow my work, right? And one of the biggest frustrations I hear from them is this. See if you can relate to this, Jordan. So they say, okay, so you want to have a successful life, you got to graduate and get your degree, right? So you can get a job. Cool. The graduate, they go for an interview, sitting across the table with the HR person. Okay, tell me about your thing. And well, I just graduated from so-and-so university, maybe a great university. We don't really hire people with no experience. Like we want people with some, couple years experience, or we hire people with more education.
Yeah, that's the common.
Right, okay. So I've gone to school 4 years. I have this piece of paper, but I cannot get a job because I don't have enough experience, or I need more education. Fine. Go back to school. Now I'm going to get a freaking MBA. How's that? Spend a few more years getting into more student loans, student debt. Now I graduate. I've now got not one I got maybe 2 degrees and an MBA. Now I sit across the table, same HR person. Well, now can you hire me? No, now you're kind of overqualified. We don't really need an MBA because a lot of those jobs, they're gone. We want someone with like this kind of, then what do you want the students to do? So if I don't get education, I cannot get a job. I graduate, I cannot get a job. Now I have more degrees, I still cannot get a job. Now I'm sitting on a few $100,000 in student debt that will take me forever to pay that off. I cannot get jobs, or the jobs I'm studying for, they're going to be replaced by AI, right? And now I go back to what, McDonald's? Like, it's sad.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of people my age. I'm 21.
It's sad. It frustrates me.
Serving jobs with finance degrees.
It's like, what about the promises of like higher education? And so that's why my entire, like my education component, like division of my company, it's all about teaching people skills, giving people skills that are not taught in school. Like, why spend 4 years preparing for something when you can spend maybe 3 to 6 months and just start earning, right? When I teach my students, let's say the art of closing, high-tech closing, I give them a closing skill. They go through a 7-week training. By the end of 7 weeks, they are closing and they are making money. They're generating income. You don't need 4 years to do this, right? And you definitely don't need to get into tens of thousands of dollars of debt to do this, right? So the job economy is dead. Now it's much more what I call the skill economy. So now it's about Uber is a skill set. right? It is a little simple, very kind of lower level skill, but it's still skill set, right? That you can go out there and you can generate income doing that versus having that fancy piece of paper. And companies, like the proof is this. A lot of bigger companies, the Apple, right? A lot of bigger companies, now they say, hey, you know what? We're hiring. We don't even need you to have a college degree. We don't need you to go to university. That's no longer a requirement.
Right. Yeah.
Why? Because they know just because you have that piece of paper, it doesn't mean you've got common sense. It doesn't mean you've got the skills. It doesn't mean you could do the job, right?
Yeah. Not only that, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, not only that, but like I don't know if you're aware of what's going on in these curriculums, but it's McGraw-Hill generic PowerPoints, and all the teachers just read off of it word for word. And it's like, they haven't even actually done the thing that they're teaching. And then you go home, do the homework. They're McGraw-Hill homework and quizzes. You can just click through them and still get an A. And then the tests are auto-generated by McGraw-Hill's test bank of questions. And we bubble it into a Scantron. It goes in, out comes a number. What are we learning here? Like, you can, it's so easy to game the system too. And every single answer is on Quizlet, Quizlet.com. So I am happy though that it seems that the more and more I've been posting about this, I used to get so much more hate, and now I get less and less. People are to your point, they're realizing this, right?
Oh, I think you're getting the hate because I think for most people, deep down, they know that's the truth. Okay, that's what they react to so emotionally, because it's like, people are overweight. You're fat. But don't say I'm fat. No, you're fat, right? It's that kind of thing, right? So they know that the system is screwed up. They know that. Like anyone with like some intelligence, they know, right? They just don't like to admit that. Oh shit.
Absolutely. I find that the more successful people are the ones that agree with me.
Yeah.
Right. Like, okay, so now we're talking about the skill economy though. What's the most important skill to be successful that's not taught in school?
Okay. So let me first define because I do get this question a lot, and sometimes people get confused. So I want to clarify, then I'm going to give you like some very practical things that your audience could do, right? So there's a difference between what I call, first of all, high income skill. I define high income skills as a skill that can make you $10,000 or more per month. Remember my copywriting skill? That's my very first high income skill.
Oh.
Now, okay. So a high income, so I'm successful not because of my degree or anything like that, because I have a skill. So, but high income skill is very different from a high income profession and a high income job. I need to very clear, like let you know the distinction first, because then people get confused. So let's talk about high income job first, okay? High income job, let's say someone's getting paid $8,000, $10,000 per month at their job. Does that consider high income skill? No, because a high income job, you are dictated by a company saying to you, this is how much you're worth, right? I'm gonna pay you this much per month, right? You're gonna show up to work 5 days, 6 days a week, and that's what we pay you. That's it, right? It's determined by a supervisor. So if you want more pay, you got to go sit down with your manager, the executive, say, hey, I want more pay. I think I've been doing a good job. It's dictated by a company, right? And if there's something that happens to the company, for example, the company goes out of business, or they're going through re-engineering, meaning they fire a bunch of people and don't really have security, right? Don't you? No. So that's a high income job. Now, a high income profession, meaning, like, for example, you are a real estate agent, okay? You're a mortgage broker. You're making $10,000 a month, but it's a profession. You're working in your city. The minute, let's say you're a real estate broker, right, and you're making $10,000 a month, the minute I say, hey, go do something else, your income goes to zero, because your profession is not transferable to another industry. Does that make sense?
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
So that's a high income profession. Right? The downside is because it's not transferable. Now let's talk about high income skill. High income skill is completely different. First of all, you're not dictated by a company how much you're worth. The only thing that determines how much you're worth is the marketplace, period. The marketplace dictates how much you're worth. So let's say I'm charging $2,000 for what I do. let's say I'm a social media, guy. I manage social media account. Cool. Could I develop my skill sets and get better? And maybe I'm getting better at closing. I'm better at doing a proposal. Suddenly I'm charging twice as much money for the same amount of work. Could I do that? Yeah. So because as long as the marketplace recognize and is willing to pay you for what you're worth. So you determine how much you get paid, number one. Number two, skills you can stack, it's stackable. And it's transferable. So if I am, let's say one of my skill back then copywriting, I can write copy for a healthcare business. I can write copy for a seminar company. I can write copy for different companies from different countries, right? And what's very interesting, Jordan, is my first skill is copywriting, right? So I was making $10,000 a month doing it in my early 20s. Pretty good. What happens is after I finish writing my sales copy, I hand it to a client. Now the client is asking me, well, Dan, this is nice, but who do we mail these letters to? Like, how do we use this marketing piece? Then I would tell them, well, just do a list, do a this, and do this kind of stuff, and then you got it. Then I started being a consultant. So I developed my second high income skill, which is consulting. And I was making another six-figure a year from that. You see how that it's like I'm stacking on my skill sets, right? And the better I'm at consulting, the more copywriting clients they would hire me for work, right? And the better I'm at copywriting, the more they want to consult with me. See how this works, right? So, but a profession and job, you cannot do that.
Absolutely. And
I believe that's the true, like, you've heard this before, and I think it's a myth. I talk about that in FU Money. I used to believe this to be true. I think it's a myth. Financial freedom is a myth. It's very controversial. I know that. Yeah. You hear this, everybody talks about this. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kiyosaki talks about this, right? Yeah. You know the definition, right? When are you financially free? When you're passive income.
Okay, yeah, passive income.
When you're passive income
to sustain your
lifestyle.
Your lifestyle, right? Your expenses. Yeah.
So your expenses is $4,000 a month. If your passive income has $4,000 a month coming in, you're free, right?
So why? Yeah. So why is that? Why does that not work? Tell me.
Here's why it doesn't work, and here's what I've learned. I've done that before. What I realize is this: just because you're free today, it doesn't mean you're free tomorrow.
Why? What?
Let's say you've got a little internet business making money on Amazon, or you're selling some kind of digital products online. You're doing affiliate marketing online. You're running ads. Right? At the time, that's what happened to me. I was making a huge, like massive amounts of passive income online, right? On ClickBank. I've got multiple products on ClickBank. I was running Google ads, right? I've got passive income coming in, like money was coming in like crazy, right? Well, suddenly more people get on Google. My keyword count gets higher and higher. Before I was free, I was sitting on the beach. This is cool. This is nice. Suddenly my profit gets thinner and thinner. So 1 year I'm free. Next year I'm not so free. I make an investment. Let's say I buy a piece of real estate. Rental income coming in, that's cool. I lose a tenant. From I'm free now, I'm not so free.
Right.
Doesn't matter what business you're in, what investments you do, there's always ups and downs. Anyone that tells you anything else, they're lying to you.
Right, absolutely.
So just because you're free today, it doesn't mean you're free tomorrow. Passive income. I say passive income is also a myth. Just because it's passive today, passive doesn't equal permanent. Passive does not equal permanent.
Okay.
So if passive income is not permanent, then all the stuff that we're thinking about, I need to have making enough passive income to pay for expense, then I don't have to do anything. I challenge anyone that's think about the top Fortune, let's say Forbes 500, the richest people on the planet. Think about that list, okay? Like do this with me, okay, Jordan? Yeah. Think about the people, okay? Give me some names.
Jeff Bezos. Warren Buffett. Bill Gates.
Yeah, Bill Gates.
I'm trying to
Michael Dell. That's all of them, okay? Yeah. Now, they have made enough money, they don't have to work. None of them. They don't really have to work.
Right.
So why do they still work?
Why? Yeah, why?
That's question number one. Second is, they could all retire. Really, think about for financial freedom, what most people want is they want to be able to do what they want, live life their own terms, right? Do what they want, where they want, with whom they want. That's really ultimately what they want. These people they could all retire, and you know what? They have retired. Retirement doesn't mean you don't do shit. Retirement, every single of the person that you mentioned, they all retire to the business. They love what they do. And I would challenge anyone, go watch these people's interviews. Warren Buffett, anyone on the top Forbes 500. They don't use the word passive income. They do not use the words financial freedom.
Oh, it's a good point. It's a good point.
If it's such a good fucking idea, why the 500 richest people on the planet don't use those words?
So what do they use?
Because that's not their belief. They're doing what they do because they love what they do.
Right.
They're not doing it for the money. I can tell you the vocabulary, values, impact, culture, change the world. When you focus on that, you get everything else. But when you focus on, because the minute that you might get all, ramped up on this, I'm very passionate about this topic because it drives me crazy. Think about this. Besides the person who's selling you passive income, and I used to believe in this, and that's why I learned it. I talk about this in the Lock book. What other areas of your life that you think passive works? Imagine this. You go home, you got a girlfriend, married?
I do not have a girlfriend.
Okay.
I've been solo for quite some time.
Okay. Yeah. Imagine you have a girlfriend. Okay. Okay. You go home and you say, "Hey, honey, you know what? From now on, I'm just gonna have a passive relationship with you.
Oh.
and then I'm gonna have some passive sex with you. So you're gonna be all the way. I ain't gonna do shit. Okay. How long do you think the relationship will last?
Not long.
Not long. Right? Imagine. You say, I want to get in shape. The concept of passive health. When is that a good idea?
It's not.
Like you think about every single area of your life that you want excellence in. There's nothing passive about it. Every single one of those areas, you got to go for it. You got to be proactive, right? But somehow when it comes to money, because the whole idea, how people got trapped into by the idea is the whole passive income, the words set the wrong expectation. Because the minute you think about passive, your mind is thinking, how could I get the most from doing the least?
Right.
In other words, you're focusing on what could I get away with?
Yeah, that's not good.
Right? You're focusing, how can I do the least so I can skip the most and then just do the minimum so that I could do nothing.
Right.
So you do the minimum to get the minimum result so you can do nothing.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. So I've got another very controversial topic of yours that will say 100% on board with. And I actually posted about it and I got ripped for it. Okay. So here's what it is.
Yes.
You can't get rich listening to the poor.
Yeah.
I tweeted it. I tweeted, have you ever noticed that all teachers are broke? What do you think they're teaching us? How to be rich? Hell no. You'll be broke your whole life if you don't educate yourself on how to make, keep, and multiply your money. And people liked it, but then someone I actually went to high school with. We're going back to the invisible kid. Now I'm visible in a bad way, okay?
Yep.
Someone from high school that I barely knew commented on it and said, "Did you really just say that?" and everyone who liked that tweet, that reply, everyone from high school. It was crazy. So why are you on board? What side are you on?
I think first of all, people don't actually listen to what you say. They listen to what they say. Meaning every single message that they hear from watch a video, they see a post, every single one of us has got a filter. They don't actually hear exactly what you're saying. They hear what they want to hear with their belief system as a filter. So why they're reacting to your message is not so much you can't get rich listening to the poor. What they hear is what they want to hear. And I can tell you almost 100% of the time when people say, I'm going to teach you a simple trick. You love this, Jordan, you love this. Anyone who tells you, oh, money is not that important, money isn't everything, and I'd rather be happy than rich and all that stuff, here's what you do. You stop and you look at them and say, wait, I feel something. Wait, there's a message. I'm getting a message. You're broke. You are broke, dude. Right?
That's it.
You have to be broke. Yeah. Because if that's your belief system, you have to be broke. Right? You're like you can develop this psychic power immediately. Why? Because that's the belief system they're running their lives. 100%. I do that all the time. Right? People say, oh, you're this and that. I say, wait. You're broke. And they're like, how do you know? Right? And they say, give me $20, I can teach you. Give me $20, I can teach you. You actually make some money out of this. That becomes a new high income skill. But you know what I mean? It is, people will say that. And I'm not saying people, by the way. You need to notice I use the word broke, not poor. Poor is eternal, broke is temporary.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And broke, and I don't mean necessarily financially broke. I'm talking about they have the mentality of a broke person. Victim mentality, entitlement mentality. I was broke. I had no money. Yeah. But I was never poor. Even I had no money, I didn't think like a poor person. It just, my money situation has not been resolved. I have some cash flow issue. Doesn't mean I'm a poor person. I didn't think like a broke person. We're very different, right? So temporarily, I had no money. That's okay, right? I always tell people, I was a millionaire way before I actually had $1 million in my bank account. I've been thinking, I had the mindset years before I just had the money. But that's how I operate. But yet, people think about the other way. Oh, I want the money, but dude, you cannot get rich. You cannot be a millionaire with a $50,000 a year habits. How could you? You're thinking like a broke person. You hang around with the broke friends who are bitching and moaning every day. You're not hanging around with people who are growth-minded, who has that growth mindset. Then how are you going to grow? So that's what I'm saying. It's not like you're putting down with, you mean like you're looking down at poor people? No, I mean, I donate to charities all the time. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about hanging around with people with broke mentality. But they don't hear that. They hear, you're putting down poor people. That's not what, I came with no money. I get it. I was $150,000 in debt, right? I got beat up, like I was bullied, like all the stuff I've gone through. So I would be the last person to put anyone down who started with nothing. I have no problem with who started with nothing, who's got ambition, who is willing to learn, who's willing to put in the work, who wants to actually do something, who wants to make a difference. I'm all supportive. What I have a problem with, people who is complaining about the situations, don't want to do anything about the situations, and all they do is point fingers at people like yourself, right? Oh, it's like they're judging you, they're criticizing you, versus how about you go do something?
Yeah.
Right? So, you don't like my message? Go post it on your damn Instagram. Oh, yeah. By the way, no one watches your Instagram. Right. Because what you say doesn't matter.
That's the other thing too, with like people staying neutral. This is what I appreciate about you. You draw your line in the sand. Like you choose, right? You choose a side, and sometimes like I'll even be a little dramatic with it, and maybe you do too. I mean, just because I know, and you know that when you stay neutral, nobody cares, nobody's talking about you, and thus you're not making money. Is that right?
And as you don't want to be so vanilla nowadays in the business world, right? You got to stand out. But I'm not saying don't do it just for the sake of standing out. But I think we should believe in something. And I have very strong opinions about number of things. Example, what I've just talked about, financial freedom and passive income. Because that's what I've gone through. And people could argue. I don't. It's okay. Like they can have their opinions. I can have my opinions, right? But I'm just saying, instead of arguing like who is right or wrong, right? Because most people would rather be right than rich.
Right. Oh wow. Yeah.
They want to. I'm right, but you're not rich.
Yeah.
You can talk all you want, but show me the results. You're still living with your parents in your basement, dude. We got a problem.
Yeah.
Right. How about you be open-minded, Let's just be open-minded. Hey, maybe there's some truth to what this person is saying. Be the daughter, be the son, right? Be able to support your family, right? Be able to be the role model, be able to help other people instead of just stuck in your own little bubble and say, hey, hold on to your opinions. No one cares.
Yeah.
No one actually cares. What they care is value and results. That's all the marketplace cares, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Dan, as we begin to wrap up here, what do you do for fun?
I do martial arts.
Yeah.
I watch movies. We do escape room. I do a lot of fun stuff. I collect Iron Man stuff.
Yeah.
You see that, right? I have a pretty big collection. Like my whole life, I'm all about work-life integration. So I incorporate a lot of what I do, my passions. Even you see it on my social media. Like my social media, like say my YouTube, is not so like I talk about business and entrepreneurship, but also talk about just what I do, like my day-to-day life, right? So yeah, and if there's one thing that I want to leave your fans and your audience with, if not financial freedom, then what, right? What should I aim for? And this is exactly it. The back of the book, unlock the door to lifelong financial confidence.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of aiming for financial freedom, aim for financial confidence. Meaning that when you have that financial confidence, you know you have the ability to generate income.
Yeah.
You're not depending on a job. You're not depending on a profession. You can count on yourself. You're not counting an investment. Definitely, I invest. But you're not counting on investment to take care of you. You're not counting on the government to take care of you. You're not counting on the school system to take care of you. You take care of yourself.
Right.
Being able to have that confidence, say, you know what? If I knock on wood, like Jordan example, there's a knock on wood tomorrow, you lose everything. But you still retain your mindset and skill sets. Could you still build something?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why? Because you've done it. You've made the mistakes. That's financial confidence, and no one can take that away from you. That's the biggest message I want to share. Don't aim for financial freedom, aim for financial confidence.
Absolutely. So at Dan Lok on Instagram, I highly, highly recommend, I insist that people follow you, subscribe to you on YouTube. A video a day is, I mean, like, come on. I mean, yes, you're posting a video a day, but like watching a video a day and then going and taking action on it and incorporating it in your everyday life. And I was just watching.
It's free. It doesn't cost anything. It's all free.
Right. It doesn't cost anything. And it's so great because that's what I wanted to acknowledge you about. You're doing this for education. I acknowledge you and thank you for making waves in the world of education and teaching people, filling in the gaps for what's not been learned in school so that people can have financial confidence and achieve and have that feeling of and have a life of significance. So Dan, it's a fantastic service. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate it.
So unlock it. Where can people get the book?
Just go to www.theunlockitbook.com, unlockitbook.com, and they can pre-order. It's coming out in a few months, right? We're now just have people pre-ordering the book, but then they'll get it in a few months. So go to the site, check it out. And we also have some, I think my team also includes some like kind of early bird bonuses as well with the book.
Fantastic. Again, I insist, unlock it, the book. Go and get that if you want to achieve financial confidence. And I mean, oh gosh, education. Like if you like Growth Mindset University, if you're listening to Growth Mindset University, you're going to love this book for the same reason, because you're learning the things that you should have learned in school but didn't. Love it, Dan. My final question is sometimes every now and then I mess up the final question. Sometimes I'm not perfect. You know what I mean?
That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Progress over perfection.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. So we've talked about a lot of lessons today. You talk about a lot of lessons every single day. If you could teach a course at a university, a course of your creation or otherwise, what would that course be?
I would say I would teach 2 courses if I could, which is kind of what I'm teaching. It's number 1, closing. Number 2 is copywriting, because those are the 2 skills that have elevated my career. And I believe those are skills that will never go out of style. because companies, entrepreneurs, they're always willing to pay someone to bring in a customer or to generate revenue. When the economy is good, they need someone to do that. When the economy is bad, they need someone to bring in customers and generate revenue. And I believe that's probably one of the top high income skills that anyone could generate compared to everything else. I'm biased because that's what has worked for me. And that has worked for now thousands and thousands of my students. So I would say those are the two skill sets that they need to understand. That if you are in debt, let me tell you this, let me leave you with this one thought. If you're in debt, you do not have a debt problem. You have an income problem. You do not have a debt problem. Because if you are in $30,000, $50,000 in debt, maybe $100,000 in debt, keeping your current income, let's say your current income stays the same, how long would it take you to pay off that debt? Long freaking time. So but what if you can double, triple income? How much faster you can pay off that debt?
Much faster.
So you don't have a debt problem, you have an income problem. And then next level thinking, you think about it, high level thinking, you don't have an income problem, you have a skill problem.
Right.
You don't have a skill set that pays the bills. You don't have a skill set that's valuable to the marketplace. The marketplace is willing to compensate you handsomely for, so you can generate more income to pay off that debt. And that's why it's all about skills. It's about the skilled economy. That's what I'm all about. People come to me because they want skills. I don't have a magic pill. I don't have a push button and money falls out of from onto your lap and you do nothing. You believe in that stuff. I mean, go do something else. I'm all about skills. I'm all about self-education, that you get better, right? You get better, you earn more. It's that simple. I earn more today, not because this and that, because my skills that I've evolved over the years as an entrepreneur, as an educator, right? As everything that I do, that I have the skill sets. It's not, money didn't make me rich. I had no money. My skills made me rich.
Absolutely. Dan, you are the man. Thank you very much.
Love you, man. Thank you.